is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Tatum drives down and throws it down. Wow!
To throw, rainbows it down the right side for Kyle Pitts. He's got it. He's there. Touchdown. Oh my!
Oh my indeed, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Bits podcast with Moko. Here to talk about all things Florida Gators football and Boston Celtics. You can follow me on Twitter at the Sports Bits Pod to get updates on when I upload. I will also be tweeting live tweets, live takes and reactions of the games being played that day. Please leave a 5-star review if you're on Apple Podcasts, and if you're on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. That would be amazing. Today's episode is mainly going to be unscripted, just because it's going to be my year in review of the Florida Gators football season. It's been a crazy season, and I have a lot of things to say about it. Mainly unscripted because I don't really have any points. I do have some later talking points about the recent transfers and the transfer portal, and also about the new hire at the secondaries coach position. So let's get rolling with this season. I don't know what to say. I mean, it was a great season. We preseason, we were looking at, this is going to be our year. We're going to make the football college playoffs, even to make it to the championship. Because the whole sentiment through the whole year was, if it's not now, when will it ever be? Especially with Dan Mullen. It's our third year. We have all these guys developed. We have Kyle Trask leading the helm because he was our franchise, or at least our franchise quarterback at the time. And it was crazy because we had Kyle Pitts emerging. Kadarius Toney is back, which is great after that gruesome injury between the 2018 and 2020 season. That really hindered his ability to help us. But, we still had Van Jefferson, what's his name? Oh, my God. Freddie Swain and all those guys last year, which really helped the receiving core. But now with this year, with Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney, and Kyle Trask on offense, it looked to be pretty good in preseason. Talking about the defensive side, I don't know, because we had a lot of guys drafted. C.J. Henderson being a top 10 draft pick, and he was one of our best corners. And I didn't really see, at least when I was watching the 2019 season, I didn't really see anybody who would emerge to be our top corner. We've had every year, 2018 it was Chauncey Gardner-Williams. 2019 it was C.J. Henderson. This year I didn't see anybody. We saw later with Kyrie Elam popping off, and later in the season, being our pseudo lockdown corner. He's good, but I don't think he was as skilled as, the last two guys who took that position. But defensively, there was hope. We've seen what this defense could do under Todd Grantham with amazing skill and talent at the positions. The last 2 years being stacked, and I thought it was a progressive uptick between 2018 to 2019, and hopefully 2020 was going to take that another jump. And we were sorely mistaken and disappointed with that. Our offense did take a huge jump though. It was basically a playoff caliber offense, sorry about that. But yeah, a playoff caliber offense that, I would say was wasted due to all defensive mistakes throughout the year. You can blame Todd Grantham. We could talk about him a little bit later. But yeah, he was probably the reason why we didn't do as well. I mean, it was probably to a lack of preparation from, being COVID at all. So you should take everything this season with a grain of salt, just because we didn't probably have the same prep time or same routine that we usually have every single year to prepare for the season. But, we take that into account. We run into the season. First few games looking pretty good. And, that Ole Miss scare was a little bit, because you saw how the defense was rattled, completely in shambles. I mean, and then you realize Ole Miss later in the season was a high-powered, insane offense that could keep up to toe-to-toe with Alabama. Then you're like, okay, Ole Miss isn't too bad. And then we go work our way up to the Georgia game, progressively looking like, oh yeah, we could compete against Georgia. This is our year. Then we see the Texas A&M game. We have a close game. We were all watching the TV screens thinking like, we could win this. It's a top 10 team. Texas A&M is a really good team, so it's not, it's okay if we, if it's okay, it's a close game, even if it's a win. But that last field goal did kill us. But yeah, that was the first hiccup of the season. We were hoping to win that game, give us a good resume booster, considering LSU was not going to be as good, and they're usually our cross-division rivals that are usually pretty good and give us either a resume booster or can destroy our season in the first 4 or 5 games. But it was not LSU this year, it was Texas A&M. And then we went to the Georgia game, coming with all the hype and realizing that Georgia did not have a quarterback. They had Stetson Bennett and DeJuan Mathis. They were fighting to see who was going to be the starting guy. And, there was also the JT Daniels talk that was going in circles there because it didn't look like they were starting. There was medical issues. And, they went in there with a great defense, and their offense was very questionable, suspect. And Florida took advantage of that. We were able to compete and shoot out games. You saw that in the Alabama game. You saw that even with Texas A&M before we lost, with a field goal. But we were able to keep up with any high-powered offense. So you look at Georgia, Alabama, and Texas A&M. We have a great offense that can carry our team, even if our defense is a little lacking that day. But you saw in the Georgia game, we stepped it up. We stepped it up. We had all this hope that we finally got them. We beat Georgia. Then you go after, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, it's okay. We got the wins. They looked like blowouts, and our defense was improving. Then we came to Tennessee, then Alabama, and our LSU, correction. It was Tennessee, then LSU, and our defense just completely went back to our week one defense, which is just ill-prepared, not lining up, not getting set. It just looked horrible. And that just did not give us hope for Alabama, even though we kept it close. And I was happy for our team to keep it close against Alabama. Shows that our offense, if we have the right pieces, we can compete against Alabama. It just shows that. And, we ended off with the Cotton Bowl. I've already gave my reaction on that. I'm not going to talk about that. But, as a season as a whole, I have this little, graph in my head. If you picture the games throughout the season, you start off with Ole Miss, which is probably a little lower than we expected because we thought we were going to completely blow out Ole Miss. But, yeah, we didn't start too hot. Moving up towards Georgia, it's like a steady incline. And then we hit to Georgia, which was probably one of our first peaks of the game. Actually, before we even get to that, we could talk about the Texas A&M was probably our first dip in the season. So, you see the general trend going up, up, up. Then you had Texas A&M drops down, go back to Missouri, we blow them out, up, up, up. Hits Georgia, we hit our peak right there, I think. We keep, I think we keep a steady pace with, Arkansas. With Arkansas, then we go to Vanderbilt, Kentucky, pretty good. I think we're going up. And then we had Tennessee. I think we dropped. I think that's when my graph starts to drop just because, we were expected to blow them out. Tennessee was not looking good this year. And it just, we dropped, and the LSU just tanked our season. We jumped back up again for Alabama because I think our heads were set for Alabama. We were not focusing on Tennessee or LSU that day. All we're thinking in our minds is that we're going to the SEC championship. We need to beat Alabama. That was our mindset. We lost. Those two games were just a good slap in the face for Florida that we need to stay, one game at a time type of deal. We cannot be looking ahead. We need to be staying on track and not be looking ahead at games. So that's probably a lesson learned for the future. Take every game as it if it's Alabama next week, and keep playing it like that. In Alabama, we kept it close. I think that was our second peak, and I say we hit rock bottom when we had no talent and we had to play Oklahoma. I think that was our second low of the season, next to Texas A&M. So yeah, it was up and down. It looks like a stock market graph, just up and down. Two peaks where Alabama and Georgia were, even if Alabama was a loss. So I think they had two peaks there, and then we just dipped after LSU, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a crazy season. All our hopes, we had hopes and dreams, and then it went crashing down after LSU and Alabama. But yeah, I was happy for it. It shows progress, and hopefully, next year the fourth year in Dan Mullen's tenure here. So that means it's mostly going to be his guys that he recruited, compared to the last 3 years, which was probably most of leftovers, McElwain and Muschamp era level guys. So you're going to see how Mullen works the Florida team with his guys over, working with the leftovers from the last two head coaches, which, is fine. We'll see how he does. He showed his greatness at Mississippi State, even though it wasn't as great as we thought. Hopefully, since he's at Florida, he actually has better resources and he's actually able to utilize all his talent around him and his coaching and his staff around him to, become better than he was at Mississippi State, because Mississippi, it's hard to compete in the SEC West. It's understandable. You have to play Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and all those, and Texas A&M. So, the East is a little bit easier because you only have to face Georgia and, maybe a Kentucky team or a Tennessee team that would maybe go up every certain year, like so often. But yeah, like you only have one team to worry about in the East with Dan Mullen in the SEC East. In the West, he had more teams to worry about. So hopefully with next year, when we have Emory Jones and all those guys, Anthony Richardson, we'll figure out who's going to be the quarterback in spring, because I think this spring is going to be a little more normal than it was, in the beginning of 2020 when we had no clue how to work the system, how to work with COVID. And hopefully we can get a spring game in, we can get spring practice and full evals and everything done, so we're able to go into 2021 fresh and ready to go and have that same mindset that we need to play every game like Alabama and stay committed to whatever team is there, not looking into 3 games in the future. Like we see Georgia, in our first game, we should not be looking at, we should be worrying about Georgia 6 weeks later. No, we should be worrying about whoever we play first. I really haven't looked at the 2021 schedule yet. But I hope, I know we play Alabama next year, I think, and that's going to be one of our biggest games next year. And hopefully we can do something with that. Let's see, I'm going to quickly pull that up right now. Yeah, we play Alabama, time of days to be determined. But yeah, we have mostly the same schedule, Alabama, LSU, Georgia. Oh, we play UCF, interesting. And yeah, of course we get our rival game back, Florida State, which has not been very good. Usually that was a pretty good booster at the end of the season, but now Florida State's kind of fallen off a little bit. All the whole Willie Taggart situation didn't really help. Yeah, it didn't help. But yeah, Florida's been dominating. Now we really have to worry about Miami as the main rival in Florida. We have to worry about, I think Derek King's going to be back for them, so that's going to be another deal. But yeah, this season's, as I keep reiterating, this season was good, and just a few mental things that need to get fixed. And we learned that Tom Grantham's going to be back next year. And we made a coaching change in second year, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, Grantham is here to stay. And, love it or hate it, I'm going to stay on the leaning towards the hate it side, 60-40 hate it. Because, it works if he has talent. His scheme works if he has talent. If he does not have talent like it showed this year, it really goes down the shambles, because he can't, he doesn't have that individual talent in the secondary or in the front seven that can make impact plays in his scheme. He's not really the type of guy, like he's not the Dan Mullen of defense, because Dan Mullen can work with any offense and scheme to the best of his ability who he has and what needs to be schemed against the other team's defense. And if we had a Dan Mullen on the defensive side, like the way he game plans for games, I think we would have done really well this year, because we would have taken advantage of whatever we had, even though we were short-manned talent-wise. I think we would have done better than what we did this season. Yeah, because Dan Mullen definitely did revolutionize Florida offense, make it more spread, or he just makes a scheme based on what the quarterback needs. So you'll see next year, as most people on the whole college football world is predicting, that Dan Mullen's gonna make an offense tailored around Emory Jones, so makes more design QB runs, more play action, just because you have Emory Jones as a weapon that is able to run and pass. Hopefully his passing gets a little bit better, because he's been pretty good, but not the best, not Kyle Trask level. We've been spoiled with the Kyle Trask level passing offense, more spread, less run offense. So we'll see how that goes. And also we have DeMarcus Bowman transferring from Clemson, which I think I should I'm going to end the season review with, it was a good season, it was fun, it was exciting. I think every Florida fan loved it regardless of how bad Grantham was. Let's put the Grantham thing aside. I think overall the season was great, and I enjoyed watching it as a Florida fan. And I hope we'll have the same energy for next year, and hopefully Dan Mullen can get a lot of things fixed that he had troubles with this year for next year. And we're going to transition into the transfers. Just, I was talking about DeMarcus Bowman, so, this is our another 5-star running back transferring to Florida, because last year we had Lorenzo Lingard, and now we have DeMarcus Bowman. And yeah, we're stacking up on running backs. I really don't know. The DeMarcus Bowman thing was nice and all, but I don't know if we really needed to stack up on wide receivers, because I think Naquan Wright's going to be back this year, and Lingard will hopefully make another step, because I think Pierce is going to the draft. Yeah, and I don't know about Malik Davis. I haven't heard any news from him, but yeah, I think running back will be fine. Hopefully we can, with a full spring, it'll help work out the kinks of, not, instead of running 3 yards, we're able to run 10 yards like Alabama and, have a consistent running game that can help open up the pass for Emory Jones, because he's going to need all the help he can get for a quarterback who's not as, talented as Kyle Trask, but still, a serviceable passer. And another transfer that came in was Antonio Shelton from Penn State. He transferred from Penn State as a defensive tackle, and hopefully will restock the front four since Kyrie Campbell is going to be gone. And, David Reese is going to be back, and I think Brenton Cox is going to be back. Ventrell Miller will be back, so hopefully that front seven will be okay for next year. Yeah, I think the transfers did okay. Hopefully, some guys are transferring out like James Houston. He was a serviceable linebacker, I'm going to say that, just because, he was probably overshadowed from Ventrell Miller, having Ventrell Miller, Amari Burney, and all those guys at linebacker. But, yeah, I think he'll be wherever he goes, he'll be a great starter. I'm assuming he's probably going to go down a little bit just because he wasn't that flashy, Alabama linebacker type deal. So he'll probably go to somewhere not SEC level, probably go to like the Big 12 or Pac-12 or something of that caliber, or even, the AAC, because the AAC is coming up. So he'll go there, probably make a couple of impact tackles and sacks and plays, wherever he goes. So I think he'll be okay. Looking out for the good for him. He did great things for Florida, for what he could, being overshadowed by two other good linebackers. But yeah, so let's get on to the secondary hire coach for Florida, Wellesley McGriff. He was the former defensive backs coach and co-defensive coordinator for Auburn. And when he was at Auburn, he was third in the passing defense in the SEC and 5 in total defense, right in front of Florida in 2020, which shows he can work a secondary, which means he can hopefully fix some of the kinks that, oh my God, I forgot the 2 names of the guys who got fired. But yeah, hopefully fix some of the things they, weren't able to fix this season with, a shortened season and also a shortened off season, and also with a shortened lack of talent in the secondary. He's also had NFL experience with the Saints from 2013 to 2015, having the second best passing defense in the league. So, he has some experience, and also SEC experience at Kentucky and Vanderbilt. So he has a well-rounded resume, and I think that's why Grantham and Denwell wanted to bring him onto staff, because he has so much experience and so much knowledge to bring to the Florida secondary that hopefully will develop the guys to bring back the C.J. Henderson types and the Chauncey Gardner-Williams types, because we really need those guys badly. If we want Grantham to run his blitz, rush the quarterback, get pressure on the quarterback type offense, we need to have a strong secondary to bolster up the back of the field while those guys get after the quarterback. That's why we did so well the first two seasons when Dan Mullen was here. Just because if we're going to rush the quarterback, we need to have strong safeties and cornerbacks to help protect the passing game. So, because if we're not going to play zone, we need to be able to have good one-on-one guys. That's what C.J. Henderson was for us. That's what Chauncey Gardner-Williams was for us. And hopefully with Wellesley McGriff, he can bring that to Florida. Because if he doesn't, we're going to have another crappy secondary that's going to get exposed by every single team with a competent quarterback and a competent set of receivers. So, yeah, hopefully he can bring that, as a secondaries coach. I still think Dan Mullins, himself should, hopefully improve next year. Yeah, I don't have words for him, because I think you've already heard it enough. Either he needs to get fired or he needs to change something about him. So there's not really much else to talk about Todd Grantham. I don't really want to go in the nitty-gritty about every single play he did wrong or whatever. What went wrong with his scheme this year that, with the lack of talent. We saw what happened, as a general term. As a general Florida fan, you're not going to notice every little kink. But, we just saw a general decline, which is why everyone's mad about Grantham. Yeah, so hopefully McGriff can help fix that with secondary. And yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the new coaching hire. And yeah, I think it's time to move on to the Boston Celtics side of the podcast. So if you guys want to hear more Florida content, I'll be here next week. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll hopefully talk about some new news that comes out of Gainesville. But yeah, I think it's time to move on to the Celtics. And we are back. All right, time to talk about some Boston Celtics. It's been a crazy set of games the last 3 to 4, before the COVID hit, which I think I'll just talk about that first. I'm just going straight into it. We had a cancellation on the Miami Heat game this Sunday, And also we have a cancellation on the Tuesday game, which I don't exactly remember who we played Tuesday, because I just saw it on ESPN that, I saw the notification that said, Tuesday's game's going to get canceled. That's kind of sad just because of COVID protocol and everything. I mean, we had 9 guys out. We're going to be really short-staffed for that game, so I feel like it was fair to cancel the game regardless. Hopefully we can not worry about too much COVID things when everybody gets healthy from contact tracing or gets back from contact tracing. So, yeah, it's the Magic game on Wednesday that got canceled. But, it's been a crazy year, and hopefully we won't have another COVID scare. We won't have to worry about contact tracing in the future with the Celtics. Especially since Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart were all out for contact tracing. And it was a scary time thinking that we're going to play the Heat and the Magic without our 3 best guys, even though, even with the Magic having Markelle Fultz being out for the season with the torn ACL, still it's not fun having your top 3 guys be, out for COVID. And it would really hinder the team. Even though I'm going to talk about a few things later, like Robert Williams stepping up, Payton Prichard stepping up, I still think, it would have been not a fun game to watch without our top three guys, getting pressure off the other guys to make plays. So I want to first talk about Robert Williams because we were kind of right. Me and James last week talked about him, like he's going to be able to step up more. Like he's probably going to be the next guy up on the center position. We should start him over Tristan Thompson, et cetera, et cetera. And it really did show that because I really looked back at his stats to decide to study him for a little bit this week. And the 2 things that really stuck out to me, that was his defensive rating, throughout his first 7 games, or last 7 games. I'm not including the first game because usually that's like when they're trying to figure stuff out. But the last 7 games since the first game of Indiana and now, his average defensive rating was 100 points, which, that's really good. And that's probably one of the best defensive ratings we have on this team, which shows that he could be a defensive, rim runner type of player. He can still score points. He averages 6.8 points a game, which is, still solid for a center who's like, a rim running defensive center. So I think he would, if we wanted to switch him out for Tristan Thompson in the starting lineup, we can. I don't think we would drop off anywhere if we did start him. Even if we started him over Daniel Tice and we had Thompson at the 4. Either way it works. I actually think we should move Tristan to the bench, and we should have, a starting lineup of like Payton Prichard, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Robert Williams, because I think that would be a really good lineup to have starting on the lineup. And then not to mention Jeff Teague is back on the bench, and then if we move Tyson Thompson, that would be a great backcourt, a front court on the bench, and then we still have Ojale Grant and Carson Edwards on the bench as well as at the guard position, at the wing positions. So I think it would be a really good team. Some of these guys are stepping up. Same with Payton Prichard as well. Some of his stat lines include, an 8.6 point per game average this season, and we also have a 3.1 assist per game this season. Really good numbers for a rookie. And also, he's averaging almost a steal a game. Or actually, I think he's averaging a steal a game, which is really good for him. Shows that, and also, if you watch him, he's a really good defensive player as well. So he's a very well-rounded guy. He's able to create his own, or he's able to make, score the points that he needs, play defense, do a little bit of playmaking when he needs to, facilitate, because I think that's what we need as a Celtics team, especially when Kemba gets back. We need someone as a facilitator. Either, Jeff T can probably take that role, even though he's more of, a shot creator type of guy. And I think Payton Prichard will be the facilitator that we need for the future. So, yeah, I think Prichard has put up some amazing numbers and amazing stat lines that, for a rookie is really surprising. I wouldn't be surprised if he got all rookie second team. I don't think he's first team, but he's a second team definitely caliber guy with, his numbers that he's putting up. And, as again, we were saying last week, he was, doubted in the draft. Like we were saying, why did we draft Prichard when we had these other guys? But he really stepped up, proved us wrong, and I think is really a really good addition to the team. Hopefully, he can be that 4th guy that, we see, we have, when we're talking about the Celtics, they have Jason Tatum, they have Jaylen Brown to worry about. They also have Marcus Smart and Payton Prichard on the guard positions. You want to see that impact saying, we have to worry about this guy every time we play them. That's hopefully Prichard can become that, later in the season and even in the playoffs if he steps up, like Tyler Hero did last year. If he could step up like Tyler Hero, that would be an amazing thing because that means that guard position will also have Kemba to worry about, and then on the bench you would have Prichard. There could also be interchangeable. You could have Prichard at the 2. Whatever way Brad Stevens wants to scheme it, they can do it. I mean, we have a lot of good guys now, and I think it's well-rounded because we also have Grant Williams stepping up as well. I don't really have any stat lines, but, watching him, I think he's a really good player to have on the bench. Same with Ojale stepped up. For how many years he's been on the Celtics, I think he's making a good jump this year compared to his other years, at least by the eyeball test. Yeah, I sorry about that. I wanted to try to pull up Ojale's stats because I didn't want to look too blanket about Ojale. But yeah, I mean he's been on. I don't know how many years he's been on the team. But yeah, he's been on the team for quite a bit. Yeah, he's been on the team for 4 years. This is his 4th year in the NBA. And if you I'm going to quickly pull this up. But yeah, what is it? Points per game. He's stepped it up from, what is it? His first season he had 2.7. This season he has 6 points per game, It's a bench type of guy. Like, I don't see him like breaking the starting lineup or anything, or like surpassing some of these guys. Like, I don't even see him surpassing Grant Williams or Robert Williams, the Williams brothers, as I call them on the Celtics team. But yeah, I think he's a serviceable bench guy. I don't know if he'll be back once his contract runs out. But yeah, it's a good guy to have on the bench. Same with Tristan Thompson and Daniel Tice. If my scenario comes to fruition that they put him to the bench, or they can run like a Thompson, Rob Williams starting lineup and put Tice on the bench. I think Tice has that like seniority in the Celtics. That's why they keep him in the starting lineup, even though, I think some of us fans some of us at least see Robert Williams as a guy we can put in there as a defensive, anchor at the center position compared to Tice, because Tice is more of an offensive guy, very scrappy, very rugged guy, and I think he's very serviceable for the bench, and for the starting lineup he's good because he doesn't have as much pressure because he doesn't have to score as much just because Tatum and Brown are there and Smart are there for the starting lineup. So yeah, I think Tice is fine. How it is, it's okay, but a few changes, at least from what I see, put Rob Williams in the starting lineup until Kemba gets back. Put Prichard as the point guard. You can always run big or small. Having 2 centers and tighten him at the 3, Brown at the 2, Smart at the 1, or you can run small with Prichard, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. And then we have whoever we can throw in at center. It would all work. This team has looked pretty good. And also, just talking about the most recent slate of games with Detroit, which was crazy because we had a 10-point win before we blew that and ended up winning by, well, how much did we win by? Crap. I do not have this pulled up. But yeah, we won by, what the hell? Why can't I find it? But yeah, we didn't, I think we only won by like, what, 8 points. I'm going to pull that up right now. So it's Toronto Raptors. Yeah, we only won by 8 points. It was okay. Looking at the team, it looked like we were like struggling in the third quarter, came back in the fourth and won it, which was fine. The Miami Heat game was pretty tough. They still got Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. It's still a force to be reckoned with. The record may say otherwise. It's being 4-4, but it still should be a winnable game for us, and we won it by 2. Thank God for the clutch layup by Payton Prichard, of course. That's why I keep calling out his name. Watching him that game against the Heat really showed his stars and his colors. Then we had the Washington game. We had Bradley Beal score 60 on us, which was holy shit. Why did I say that? But yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I'm sorry I had to say that, but Bradley Beal, he scored 41 points. And then thank God we held Westbrook to 12. But yeah, they went off that game. No one stopped. And Davis Bertans had 13 points. We couldn't hold them. We couldn't hold the star players. I think that's our problem for this year. If I had to put you guys with anything or give you guys any type of thing about the Celtics after this episode, is that we can't hold star players. We saw that against the Nets, against Kyrie and KD. See that with Westbrook, Beal. Saw that with Jimmy Butler. It's not great. I mean, we did do okay against Pascal, but he still scored a decent amount. But yeah, we have Fred VanVleet. More importantly, Fred VanVleet scored like 20+ points. We can't hold the stars down to limit their efficiency, which is the only problem I see for the season. Because if our defense is still ranked like 20 something in the league. Yeah, our defensive rating dropped to 22, or still at 22. And our offensive rating actually dropped from 7th in the league to 9th now after the last slate of games. And if we cannot fix that defensive rating and fix our defense, I really don't see us going that far because we still got Milwaukee, we still got Philadelphia, we still got plenty of teams to worry about in the playoffs that I'm really concerned about. Yeah, we got Philly, we got Indiana. The Magic are doing pretty good. Hopefully I can see, the next game. Hopefully the next game won't get canceled so we can actually see them play the Magic. Milwaukee's still there. The Hornets have been really good with LaMelo Ball. Like, if you've seen him, he's the youngest player to score a triple-double, which is crazy. The Cavs, falling off. We thought their 5-0 start were going to be, or 5-1 start's going to be great. No, it wasn't. I didn't see that lasting that long. But yeah, we still got a lot of powerhouses. We are the first place in the Eastern Conference, but I don't see it lasting long. I see us ending as around a 3 seed, 3-4 seed. I think Milwaukee will overtake. I think once one of these other teams finds their stride, I think they'll take the 2 seed and we can take the 3 seed. Honestly, this opening slate. Yeah, I think the Nets actually will take number 2 if Katie and Kyrie get everything fixed. I think they'll be the 2 seed, and then we'll take 3. Yeah, because this start of the season has been really weird. We're seeing the Cleveland Cavaliers as the top 8 team, New York Knicks, they're 5-5, Orlando Magic and Indiana Pacers. I'm just looking at the standings right now, and it does not look like what we expected. We expected Milwaukee to be blowing through all these teams, and we thought we would be around here. 7-3 is pretty good for us. Philadelphia I thought was going to be okay, and then yeah, I have nothing much else to say that this season's been a pretty weird start. Not to mention that on the other side of the world, on the western side, the Denver Nuggets are 5-5 and they're not even top 8. Yeah, and then you see like a team like Oklahoma City 5-4 with only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being their only star player. It's crazy. It's a crazy season. There's a lot of things we didn't expect. But, come around the midseason mark, where the All-Star game would have been, everything will about to equal out because I think everything will be fixed and figured out by that time, and we can have a little bit of what we expected in the preseason. But, yeah, for right now, it's been a crazy start to the season. And, yeah, I think the Celtics will do great. I think we'll still be a 3rd seed ending the season. I hopefully won't have to change my mind. Hopefully Prichard, Rob Williams, and Grant Williams will take steps, throughout the season to become better players. Tatum will still be good. Brown will still be good. Some people are saying Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum. Please stop the cap. That was horrible. Whoever's saying that. I had to say it. Please stop the cap. God damn. But yeah, no. You'll see later in the season, even in the playoff times, I think Tatum's a better playoff player than Jaylen Brown. So everything will return back to what we thought was normalcy around the midseason to at least when the playoffs start. But yeah, that's really all I got because COVID's got cancellation. The COVID cancellations really suck because I was hoping to talk about those games, especially the Magic game. Actually, I'll probably talk about the Magic game next week. Hopefully, if they don't cancel it, and if we have more COVID cancellations, I probably won't be talking about much but the Celtics. But if we do have games, I will be talking about them. If you follow me on Twitter at SportsBitsPod, you'll get updates and probably see some of my live reactions to the games I do watch because some games I can't watch due to, cable rights and crap. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to watch those games. But yeah, until next week, boys, I will see y'all. And hopefully next week we'll have more things to talk about. This week I think we had a pretty good amount of things to talk about this week. With Florida side, hopefully more news will come out. And hopefully the Dan Mullen rumors aren't true. And for the Celtics, I pray we keep making steps, making strides to become, stay at the 3 seed or even the 2 seed in the East. And we can keep pushing that playoff run. Till next week, everybody. Peace.